Chapter 10 Act of Terror and Simi.
I have observed that the police authorities always bring in the name of Simi while investigating acts of terror. How far it has been proved?
Students Islamic Movement of India, SIMI, came to be regarded as the core organization responsible for fomenting trouble through youth. Despite the ban on SIMI in 2001, the Muslim youth kept on being labeled as SIMI activists and were put behind the bar. It's not to say that SIMI was holding ideology which was talking of democracy and secularism. One knows that SIMI, which began as a student front of Jamaat-e-Islami Hind, gradually came out of its control and became radical in the decade of 1990s in particular.
Simi was founded on the ideology propounded by Maulana Maududi, according to whom all non-Muslims are kafirs and man-made systems like democracy are false and Sharia is the only way. It kept the goal of spreading Islamic consciousness among Muslim students and peaceful missionary work amongst non-Muslims. Some events in the decade of 1990 were to shape its ideology in a radical and militant direction. These events were Soviet Russia's invasion of Afghanistan and Islamization of Pakistan in particular. Meanwhile, Jamaat-e-Islami proclaimed democracy and secularism as its guiding ideology. Simi came out from the control of its parent organization to talk in a different language. The demolition of Babri Mosque and the post-demolition violence gave it a fillip in the negative direction. Democracy has failed to protect Muslims, so there is a need for someone like Muhammad Ghazni, the destroyer of Somnath.
This was also the theme of the poster released by them in the aftermath of Babri demolition. What were the allegations against Simi?
It was alleged that Simi has links with Sikh and Kashmiri militants. It was alleged that they have links with Osama and ISI. At the same time, Simi claimed that it wants to work through peaceful methods, while the worsening communal situation made it to say that Muslims are a beleaguered community. Under these circumstances, Simi was banned in 2001.
Did someone investigate this? The ban on Simi was challenged, so a tribunal had to be appointed to review the ban. Ajit Sahi of Tehelka, in his painstaking investigation, followed the tribunal sitting all through. Tehelka, Simi Fictions, 12th August 2008. The tribunal did not find any evidence of the charges put against the organization for banning it. The ban could not be upheld. So what did Ajit Sahi conclude? About this investigation, Sahi said, his investigation is no dry story rising from lifeless court documents. It has been an emotional roller coaster to sit across young boys barely into manhood, their foreheads creased by sleepless nights, worried, stiff over the jailing of a father, a brother wondering endlessly.
Will this end? Is this for real? What do I do now? Where do I go now? Will I survive this? As I interviewed countless Muslims so weathered, I couldn't but ask myself, what if this was me? What if it was my brother, my father in jail?
Has there been any civil group's intervention in commenting on this phenomenon?
Disturbed by this situation, two people's tribunals were set up by the human rights groups. The report and recommendations of both the tribunals are similar and overlapping.
The first one was headed by Justice retired Bhargava and Sardar Ali Khan, with prominent social activists like Asghar Ali Engineer and Prashant Bhushan as the jury. The testimonies showed that a large number of innocent young Muslims have been and are being victimized by the police on the charge of being involved in various terrorist acts across the country.
The second tribunal, set up by a different set of organizations of Rajasthan, worked under the leadership of Justice retired Bhargava. One of its pertinent observations was that the police authorities investigating the terror offences appear to be violating all the laws of the land and directions of the Supreme Court during the conduct of the investigations. In particular, many persons have been detained for days or weeks without showing them to be arrested and without producing them before any magistrate. What has been the plight of the innocents caught by the police?
They have been sometimes tortured and humiliated by the police officers. They have not been allowed to meet their relatives and lawyers, who have often not even been informed of their detention. The investigation of the blast by the police also appears to be communally motivated, and only persons belonging to the Muslim community have been the target of the investigations. Does police need to have a more professional attitude in investigating these events?
The names of Huji and Simi have been bandied about by the police as the perpetrators of the blasts without any evidence. A number of former members of Simi have been arrested and detained without any basis or evidence against them. The media has also been uncritically repeating and amplifying the baseless allegations and innuendos of the police, mentioning persons and organizations belonging to the Muslim community, thus resulting in ethnic profiling and feeding into the Islamophobia being sought to be created and reinforced in the minds of the Hindu community by the Hindutva organizations.
In Jaipur, this has resulted in the vilification of the entire Bengali Muslim community, who has been victimized by the Hindutva organizations in complicity with the police.